Yo, it's your boy Jay Boogie back with another video today. Make sure you guys don't forget to press the like, comment, share button on my YouTube channel. And if you watch this from TikTok, don't forget to press that like button. Don't forget to press the repost button. Do whatever you gotta do. I appreciate any kind of support you guys give me. I appreciate it all. And today we will be talking about the 2010s NBA All-Decade Third Team. Pretty much the five best players from that decade from each position. And this is the third team. So at point guard, I got no other than CP3, Chris Paul. Chris Paul body of work with the Clippers was phenomenal. Pretty much elevated their franchise, Lob City era with him, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin. And Chris Paul was just became masterful on both ends of the floor, just as he was with the Hornets, but with the Clippers. Everything, like I said, his game, his impact has elevated their franchise, and you see how good of a duo the pick and roll plays with him and Blake Griffin on the lobs, and of course the mid range game. You see his offensive highlights right here from his best season, I believe. This is from his 2013-14 season. And, pretty much Chris Paul was just out of his mind with the Clippers run. Obviously, they couldn't get over the hump, not make it past the second round. But besides that, Chris Paul, his IQ, his tank for the game, his offensive IQ, defensive IQ is just phenomenal. And he's pretty much one of the greatest mid-range scorers, shooters ever. And especially at the point guard position, because he can get you with that snatchback handle, the hezzy pull up, the hezzy fake, and then pull up from the mid-range, or he will dribble around the goal and then shoot the mid-range fadeaway shot, especially on the baseline. So Chris Paul, offensively, scoring-wise, can really, if he really wanted to, can really average like 25 a game. Because he had the three ball, the mid-range, the floater game, and he was a decent aggressive finisher at the rim. So Chris Paul overall was just as great as any point guard 2010s. You could have put on the second team, but, honestly, I had Westbrook at the point guard position on the second team list. But Chris Paul, man, was phenomenal for the Clippers. Like I said, made them title contenders when COVID season or when the COVID had happened. But you see how phenomenal he was, teaching Shea the way. And I think Dennis Schroeder was on that team as well, I believe. I'm not sure, but Chris Paul impact on each team, each franchise was great. Like I say, his offensive game, his IQ is one of the greatest at the point guard position. And like I say, he's a great scorer, phenomenal passer, great pick and roll ball handler. And then, like I said, just the era of him, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Lob City era was entertaining as heck. It was dope to watch. And Chris Paul was definitely deserved to be number one on this list at the point guard position. At the two guard, I got no other than Jimmy Buckets, Jimmy freaking Butler. Jimmy Butler, man, pretty much in the 2010s, when D Rose was dealing with injuries back and forth, he pretty much took that next step, pretty much be the best player on the team. And during his run with the Bulls was great. All-star appearances, all defensive teams. And, pretty much with the Bulls, he was a really good three-point shooter. I think his second season, after his rookie year, he just became a three-point threat. And then pretty much his shooting game has improved a lot. Became a very reliable mid-range scorer. Had a nice form, smooth-looking jump shot. And, pretty much he came to the league, he was known to be a good slasher and a good defender. And then, of course, when people saw his offensive improvement, because I think he was most improved, his second season, that same season where he improved his shooting ability. And, honestly, the Bulls run, like I say, he made an all-star name for himself, and then also they can go over the hump. And then his best season, honestly, seeing his highlights right here, with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dude just took that team on his back. A young Karl Anthony Towns. Him, just being the leader, being that stern, fierce competitor. And Jimmy Butler, man, like I said, his defensive-minded ways in 2010 was phenomenal. He still was in the early part of the 2020s, but 2010s, he was definitely one of the best two-way players because he could lock you up. Then, in the fourth quarter, he made good defensive plays. And then in the fourth quarter, you still could go to him to make the right offensive play or just, make the game winning shot. And we didn't give him that name, Jimmy Buckets, for no reason. And Jimmy Buckets, like I said, his offensive game kept getting better and better, scoring ability, shooting ability. He was already a good slasher and a good defender. But then, kind of like the DeRozan, he just became such a lethal mid-range shooter. And, and then just knew how to take over games in the fourth quarter because he just got that dog mentality and that confidence in him. And, pretty much, like I say, he tried to install that same mentality to the Timberwolves when they was, I think, the 7 and 8 seed in the Western Conference. But still impressive what he did because it was like his best season in the 2010s. It was just carrying that team who was who was hot trash the season before. And then once he arrived, he just elevated everybody around him, just play better. And then, unfortunately, they didn't do too well in the playoffs, but you still carry that young team, a team that had no business being in the playoff picture. It made it to the playoffs. So Jimmy Butler definitely deserved to be at the shooting guard position on this list. And then no other than in the small forward position, PG-13, originally was PG-24, but PG-13, Paul freaking George. We know about his Indiana run. Coming out the gate, slasher, defender. When Danny Graduate was battling with injury, he took that next step to be the best player on the team as well. And, pretty much, he was, like I said, this version of Paul George with the Pacers was a great-minded, defensive-minded player, slash at the rim. He was just starting to become a more efficient shooter after he won Most Improved Player of the Year. But he was a great slasher at the rim. You see my videos, the video I made about him. Go check that out. He had a lot of great poster dunks. The dude was phenomenal with the Pacers. And then, honestly, his best season with OKC, that's when his offensive game became more polished. Then he became a full, polished two-way player. And Paul George is out of his mind during the 2018-19 season with OKC, playing along with Russell Westbrook. And then you see his full offensive game was just everything just elevated. The ball handling, the shooting ability, the confidence, and then still able to lock down defenders on the other end of the floor, becoming more clutch in crunch times. I mean, Paul George finished third place for the MVP race for a reason. And you clearly can see why I always say at that time, the best version of him will always be OKC because he showed how well polished he was on both ends of the floor. And that was a pick of his prime, in my opinion. The Clippers around here, he still did good, but OKC, just them 2 years and his last season with OKC, it was just like everything on both ends of the floor just elevating like crazy. The ball handling skills, the step back crossovers he do, the mid-range pull-up, the three-ball pull-up, finishing at the rim. Dude had it all on both ends of the floor. And you see in this clip of how effective he was to the OKC that last season he was there. And then obviously playing along with Westbrook just elevated his game even more. So shout out to PG-13 to be at the small forward position. And then going on to power forward position, this is tough. Honorable mention would be Blake Griffin, but my power forward would be Giannis again. Don't forget, Giannis immensely improved in the mid-2010s, winning Most Improved Player in 2017, and then just took the lead by storm at that position from here on out. Pretty much ever since LeBron left the East. And then, pretty much winning MVP 2018-2019 season. Seeing his highlights right here and how effective and dominant he was. Then that's when we really knew how dominant he was going to be in the paint. The one-man transition baskets he does. A good rim protector, a good help defender. And dude was just confidence. Giannis. That's confidence. Like Giannis, was just he kept getting better and better. Obviously, he wasn't the same shooter he once was when he first got to the league, once he added more muscles and stuff, but Giannis was incredible. I mean, just kept improving, and then he just kept being dominant and dominant and dominant. And then ever since the 2017-18 season, he has not finished below third place in the MVP race. To this day, it's crazy. And just that brief stint, he already just made an impact in the East in that power forward position. And then he was just phenomenal. Making all defensive teams, winning MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like, Giannis was just phenomenal in the late 2010s, like mid to late 2010s. And he just took the lead by storm, especially in the East, because that's when he pretty much became the best player in the East when LeBron left. So, Giannis was phenomenal. You've seen his highlights from his MVP season, 2018-19 season. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greek freak, dog, dominant. That's all I got to say about that, for sure. And then going on to the last player, the center position. No other than the original Boogie, DeMarcus Boogie Cousins. Man, dominant, good inside-out scorer, big body, great post player, and pretty much, I wish the Kings would have really elevated his support a lot more. The 2015-16 season could have been the year that made the playoffs with him, Rondo, Rudy Gay, ones that still had been Macklemore and others. That was a solid team, and they just still couldn't get over the hump. But outside of that, man, DeMarcus Cousins is a great all-around offensive player. Great coast to coast, one man transition fast break, just like the Giannis's. A big that can take over games. He give you 28 points, 15 rebounds. He was an underrated playmaker and could drop like 5, 6 assists in his sleep. And his post presence on the offensive end was just graceful. Like I said, a good playmaker, a good post player. Had the mid-range shot, the under, the drop step, the step throughs. DeMarcus Cousins could do it all, and like I said, he was a beast on the boards. And pretty much, DeMarcus Cousins was just phenomenal in every single way, aspect of the game. Just unfortunate when we got to the Pelicans, him and AD was looking promising. Twin Towers, both guys offensively was dominant. And then you got, obviously AD was a better defender, but still, just that prime presence of him and AD in the pound defensive end was going to be a problem. So, DeMarcus Cousins, man, like I said, deserved to be at the center position. Like I said, this dude was phenomenal in every aspect in his prime, especially when he was healthy. So, you like this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, do whatever we got to do. I love you guys. J Boogie is out.